What it do, my peoples, my kinfolk, my peoples out there that's chilling, and my peoples out there that's willing. Not my peoples out there that's killing. We ain't doing that. We kicking it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm back with another video talking about my 10 years on T experience. It's a big milestone. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little late because a lot late because my 10 years on T was June 2025. However, here I am in 2026 uploading the video. You know, I've been meaning to do this, but starting a new career, having a new baby, my puppy Kovu, having a new baby, you know what I'm saying? Just been busy. He finally made 7 months, so got a little more wiggle room. But yeah, we here. I had a blast. 2025. Let me just say that I had a blast. I spent a lot of time with loved ones, friends. I got a brotherhood circle. Um, Man, it's been a good time. I went to Spain earlier in the year. I went to the Virgin Islands for my birthday. You know, my transition anniversary is a month after my birthday. Which really a couple weeks after my birthday. I basically started the process when I was 18 of transitioning. Um, Officially transitioned right when I hit my 19th birthday. About to be 30 in 2026, so I'm about to have a blast again. You know what I'm saying? About to do it big. You know, it's been a lot going on the past couple years. I haven't been consistent because I started a new career and whatnot. So, you know, you know how that go. You know, we tend to focus on the physicality of transitioning. Um, but once you see certain things as concrete, you start to more so focus on the social changes. And when I transitioned, it was like this bathroom bill that had came out and that like sent like a shockwave through, you know, making transness more mainstream. And then on top of that, Caitlyn Jenner had just came out when I was like maybe like 3-4 months on T. What made me want to transition is, you know, I was on my Tumblr days, and ran across a guy, and it's crazy because before I even knew transition, it was possible for trans men. I said that I wanted a sex change, you know. That's how I was using it back then. You heard of sex change, but you didn't even really know what that looked like, especially for trans men or assigned female at birth people. So I always had that in the back of my mind. But once I seen that, okay, so it's possible now, I went with it. So I did my research and boom, boom, went to therapy. Back then, you had to have still a therapy letter. I was still on that cusp of before socially transitioning became more accessible, so, and more mainstream. And I feel like TikTok also put a some fire to it, you know. So, but with that comes more exploitation from people that's in opposition of that. So, you know, it's funny because people in my life, they knew I've been transitioning, so now they seeing the ridiculousness and know that I'm a chill type of person at low key type shit. They see the ridiculousness of the exploitation of trans people, the over exploitation of detransitioning, and so they talk about it with me. They feel comfortable, and they know I got some steel feelings, STEEL, some steel feelings, and I'm able to actually engage in conversation without necessarily getting offended and shutting it down. And we work our way through it, and we go accordingly, and, you know. But, you know, the older I got, the more low key and more stealth I got, and it's interesting because all the guys that I used to watch back then, they kind of went stealth or just kind of disappeared And I get it. You know, different strokes for different folks. Everybody's not meant to be visible or activists or, and they still matter to me to this day. So I appreciate all the fellas that, even if they was visible once upon a time, I appreciate that altogether because I've been there, especially with this new career and it be more male dominated. I've thought about it too. So, yeah, it's certain things that I roll back on as far as being visible and had to think long term about stuff. And I've been inconsistent on hormones a little bit the past couple years, going off, just to have a monthly cycle every now and then to kind of keep my reproductive system as healthy as I possibly can. Not that the doctors ever said that I need to do that, but I just took it upon myself, for my reproductive system help because I don't have a health because I don't have a hysterectomy. So, it's different things to consider. You have to consider that being on transness is not new, but being on hormones and having access to certain health care, especially gender affirming cares for trans people specifically, because gender affirming care being around for cis people, just people in general, gender affirming care is when you go to a women's hospital or you go, you know what I'm saying, as a woman, this in a sense gender affirming care. So, you know, transness is not new, but the medical progression is fairly new. So, certain things I kind of try to jump the gun and go with, like a little common sense to, just for my health long term, because you just never know. I done heard too many or seen too many stories. I still want to keep everything working because, I don't know if I want a kid yet. Not to say I'm going to carry, but I'm just saying, like, use my eggs or, do what I got to do. The social changes. With my family, everything Gucci now, I will say, me being 10 years transitioning, if you still ain't got my pronouns right, and that's a you thing. That's a you thing. And it's still certain family members or old people I know. You kind of expect certain shit from certain type of people. Like, you expect the auntie who kind of got a little spat with everybody or got into it with a plethora of family members. You don't really expect her to be politically correct with you unless you her favorite or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you expect certain things. Because I know at the end of the day, when I go out into the real world, people see what they see. People see a man. I'm affirmed as such. Even from transphobic people that don't even know they're talking to a trans person, they affirm me all the time. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? The power of hormones. So yeah, it is what it is with certain people. Like for instance, somebody like Boosie, small town in Louisiana, from the South. You expect certain things from him because of where he come from. Not to say you put everybody in a box, but when you know that Boosie is what he's all about, and always been all about, you don't expect him to be politically correct all the time. In fact, I'm gonna keep it G. Certain country folks, even if they ignorant in the motherfucker, I like hearing them talk because it reminds me of home. It'd be funny to me. It'd be a breath of fresh air for me. I have a great sense of humor, but I also understand when people say certain people have a big platform, they held to a higher responsibility because they have a bigger platform. They influence a lot of people. But think about it. These people been the people that follow these people been thinking a certain type of way, But I do think at a certain point there should be some progression in thought, like sometimes surprise people sometimes. Show people why they can't put you in the box because you a small town country boy. That's the type of tip I be on. My black side of my family, we all from the South, and deep country south, small town, so I expect certain things. You gotta. I come from that directness. That's where I come from. That's how I'm built, and so I've learned over time to tone certain stuff down. You don't got to speak everything that's on your mind. You know, you don't have to speak everything that's on your mind. But my Hispanic side in California, they more relaxed, of course. California, come from different backgrounds, and they might not get certain things right with pronouns, but they affirm in different ways. Like, hey, you want to lift some weights? That's trying. I can admire that. It's a difference between trying and you just trying to be an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah. And so, like, a lot of times I think about when I was younger, when I was a kid, I always think about the humble beginnings. I remember when I stopped being a Christian, but then I think about how when I was little, I loved God and I would read my Bible and I would sing I'm in the Lord's army. That's how I was brought up. So, healing that childhood trauma, so to say. I ain't really got childhood trauma, so to say, but besides my parents getting divorced, but healing that trauma of being queer, you think about that back then of when I used to steal my cousin's packs of boxers of Spider-Man and put on their boxes and take them motherfuckers. And then when I used to pray to God and love Jesus and stuff like that, and just because I say I love Jesus don't mean that I align with Christian nationalist type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of unlearning and relearning that I've been doing and being intentional about it. You know? So that's what I focus on. I focus on that kid, that pure kid, and I tune out the noise of what the world is saying, and I see through certain agendas. You know what I'm saying? Just because you want to get votes, or just because you want power, or just because you want to divide people, you want to cause division. You gotta look through that. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of, lately, it's been a lot of trans women versus trans men. Who got it harder and who did it? Let me tell you something. I done laid up and prayed up and loved on some trans women. And it ain't never been a real deal argument behind this type of shit. Like, we would just talk and learn from each other and really have enlightening conversations because everybody's different. And everybody think different. Everybody experience different things. And I've seen it as a bridge to bring us together. But I will say a lot of people operate from trauma. A lot of people operate from trauma and they don't realize it. And it is what it is. I also understand wanting to go stealth because it's different strokes for different folks. Not everybody want to be an activist. You a doctor, you a lawyer, you drive trucks. You still keeping the world go around. You still contributing to society. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's all people need. Some people need that normalcy for their sanity. People may feel like you a coward or you're not doing the work, therefore you don't have the accolades to do certain stuff. And some people just blessed with the gift of gab and they could do that. Not everybody can be blessed with that. It's okay. You contribute in some form of fashion. And it's okay to still want to be connected to community. But I respect those who still want to have a quiet life, live the soft life. I respect that. It's been plenty of times I wanted to just back out from everything, and I have, in a sense, in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? So I had to give advice to trans people, don't rush nothing. I understand that things are more accessible. Um, you might feel inclined to rush stuff because of the current administration is taking away certain stuff, but don't rush into nothing. The timing will come with everything. The timing will come with everything. There's always a way. Always a way. Let things flow naturally, organically. Don't rush nothing. Don't make any abrupt decisions that you might regret later. Take it slow. There's nothing wrong with the slow life. There's nothing wrong with resting. Rest. Rest. Chill. It's gonna be okay. Don't focus on the physicality stuff no more. Cause at the end of the day, especially if you're new in your transition, there's a part of you that needs to be okay and comfortable with the fact that you might look in between. You might look in between. And that stage is what made me wonder, is this shit for me? Because if I'm going to look in between, there ain't no point. I might as well just feel trans my whole life and just keep it pushing. But yeah, and be okay with the fact that it might always be something about you that might not feel like you look like a natal male, or you know what I'm saying. Be okay with that possibility. That's not the case for everybody, but be okay with that if you decide to transition, because hormones is not the cure for all. Everybody's genetics is set up different. I know you done seen some soft cis men out here. I'm just saying. So be content with that. Be okay with that. As far as beards and stuff, don't focus on that. I know that. Look at my stuff. It's a little patchy. Like, it's a little uneven right here. I'm 10 years in. And then getting jaw surgery kind of made it not connect even. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. That's what makes us humanity. That's what makes us beautiful. And I know that sounds cliche and like whatever. But seriously. People ask me if I want this surgery or that surgery or this surgery. And I kind of have the attitude of, when I'm ready, I'll know. If I'm ready, I'll know. If I don't want something, I'll know. If I do, I'll know. But I'm not rushing into anything as of right now. I'm not feeling any other surgery right now. I'm not feeling it right now. But I know eventually I do want certain surgeries. But as of right now, I'm chilling. Like, I'm just basking in the glory of living, being at peace. My heart a little broken, you know what I'm saying? My heart a little broken, but whose isn't? But I'm still at peace, you know. Having a new friend group has been amazing because they have been keeping me in line of being on that tip of laughter and love and having a great time and exploring, and we've been out here living life, especially my trans male group of friends. The best way for you to develop friendship is if it happens organically. Like, not on some, oh, we gonna link just because we trans. That ain't the way to do it. Okay, now, I done been to conferences. Listen, I hold everybody to an individual level, and there is certain type of patterns to certain demographics. Now, I ain't gonna say what I mean specifically, but there's patterns. But hold everybody to an individual level and let it develop organically, and you'll be surprised what type of beautiful friendships can bloom from that. Like, don't force nothing, you know. Open your mind a little bit. Like, I got a lot of cis woman friends, had a couple cis male friends, but sometimes they act weird. Sometimes they act weird when they know you trans, man. Sometimes they get a little weird, but not even like they being sexual. It's just a matter of they might fall back a little bit, or my homegirl said she felt like that's from them battling something internally, and but yeah, it was one cis male friend I had. We would go out, talk to girls, kick it, and then he found out I was trans. I think through Instagram, and kind of just fell back after that. But I ain't tripping. Like if it flow, it flow. Like I can't beg nobody to be my friend or demand answers, or some stuff just they don't even sometimes don't have nothing to do with you being trans. It might just be I don't know. Shit, I don't know. It could be anything. And that's something I learned. Have some confidence enough to know that other people's opinions about you shouldn't determine your self worth. Like people's desirability for you or desirability for them to want you in your life shouldn't determine your self worth. And, you know, don't group everybody the same. Because every trans man ain't the same. You're going to learn that being in friendship. You're going to learn that. Every trans man ain't the same. Every trans woman ain't the same. Every cis man ain't the same. Every cis woman. We know that. Deep down, we know that. We know that. But a lot of us like to chalk it up to, oh, trans men are this. Oh, trans women are this. Everybody different, man. Everybody different. So I would suggest get out there and get in community, develop organic, meaningful bonds, and you'll start to see your life truly blossom. Because we focus on so much of the romantic life. Focus on friendship too, family. You know. So don't focus so much on the physicality, man. That's gonna drive you crazy. It's gonna put you in the most lonely places of your life. Just you don't always have to surround yourself with like-minded people either. People could think different from you. That's okay. People could think different from you and still be your friend. You can agree to disagree, or a family member. You can agree to disagree. But some people, they be like in survival mode to where they feel like if you disagree with me, you disagree with my existence. I mean, it depends on the topic, but hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay if people disagree with you. You'll survive. Especially if they don't really have no power for real. You know what I'm saying? Business folks, they do not agree 9 times out of 10. They do not agree on stuff, but they cooperate. You know. Then there's a such thing as healthy competition, and that's okay. But cooperation will get you far. You know. Anywho, alright, y'all. Stay blessed. Stay up. You know what I'm saying? Go see the world. You going through something. I know everybody IDs and stuff ain't set up the same, and there's a lot of shit going on. But take you a solo trip in a safe place though. Take you a solo trip. And remember, people not gonna know you alone unless you tell them. So take you a solo trip is very healing. Doing what you want to do and just hey, do that. And that's what helped me push through a lot of stuff and surrounding myself with love of friends and family. All right, y'all. Be easy out here, man. All love, blessings, love, light. No time back. Hold up.